Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I am Tom.
I am Stephanie.
And today we're going to continue talking about tree houses.
Cool.
We talked about them last time, especially tree houses built by a treehouse expert.
Right.
A man by the name of Pete Nelson. If you want to actually see these tree houses and learn more about them, you should tune into the Discovery Channel. There is a show all about Pete Nelson and his castles in the sky. So indeed, last time we talked about one of his clients here, actually his old friends, his old pals, Charlie and Stella. They're from North Carolina. And they, of course, want him to come over to North Carolina and build them a dream home in the trees of their 21-acre property.
Yeah, and he only had 9 days to do it.
Yeah, he had to clear a window of time there in his schedule.
Kind of crazy to complete a tiny home. It's not a big home, but a tiny home in 9 days. We're going to continue talking about Pete and his team. They're off to their next project in this particular lesson today. They're going to Washington, and Washington is on the west coast of the United States, and it's beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful trees there. So we're going to see what they're going to be up to. It looks like they're going to be helping the Walters family build something that's pretty extravagant, I would say. Right now, guys, though, we are going to read through our lesson first. Pete and his team are relieved to hear their next project won't involve another race against time. They're heading to Cascade Foothills, Washington, to meet James and Wendy Walters and their 2 children. The Walterses are avid skiers, and they're looking for a relaxing place to warm up after an exciting day on the slopes. Pete loves the idea of their après-ski house treehouse. So they set off in search of the perfect spot. They finally find it, but there's just one problem. The trees are located on a steep hill, which means the treehouse will have to be built nearly 18 meters in the air. Pete is never one to turn down a challenge, however, and before long, a stairway to treehouse heaven takes shape. The Walters' treehouse is designed to feature 2 stories and a heavy timber frame with vaulted ceilings. To support the structure's weight, Pete's team builds a special reinforcement system with heavy-duty steel beams that will sit underneath the treehouse. The project sounds complicated, but it continues smoothly until James makes an additional request. He'd like the indoor fireplace to become an outdoor fireplace, too. Pete takes the last-minute adjustment in stride. Soon, the new fireplace, windows, and doors are all in place. All that's left is to make the space cozy. Tori, Pete's trusty designer, can't wait to fill this treehouse with ski-themed furniture, soft rugs, a games table for the kids, and a mouth-watering wine bar for James and Wendy. It's not hard to imagine how much the Walterses adore their custom-made chalet in the sky. For more awe-inspiring treehouse creations like these, be sure to tune in to Discovery's Treehouse Masters.
Okay, let's continue talking about our lesson. This is the second day in which we're talking about Pete Nelson's castles in the sky. And last time we talked about him helping his friends build a treehouse in North Carolina so that they would have a place that's all quiet and serene and they can meditate there. But now they're going all the way to the other coast in the United States. They're going across the continent now. Pete and his team are relieved to hear their next project won't involve another race against time. Remember, last time they only had a window of 9 days to build that treehouse in North Carolina. Well, now they've got all the time in the world. They don't need to rush for their next job. It's not a race against time.
No. Or you could also use the phrase, it's not another race against the clock. we'll also use that to talk about...
Or maybe it's not another rush job.
Rush job, yeah. We'll use those phrases to talk about never having enough time to do something. Now, they're heading to Cascade Foothills, Washington, to meet James and Wendy Walters and their 2 kids. The Walterses are avid skiers. Before we move on, I want to address the Walters. Their last name ends with an S. So they've got a kind of wacky name. If an English name ends with an S, then you add ES to make it plural. And it's kind of weird, but that's the way we do it. Walterses. I know, it's weird.
Like Joneses would be the same thing.
Yeah, but we see Joneses all the time because there are a lot of Jones in America. But the Walterses, this is the first time I've ever said that out loud. Now, they're avid skiers, which means they love to ski. They're probably good at it, too. If you have a hobby and you love it a lot, then someone can, say, oh, she's an avid knitter, she's an avid sewer, she's an avid tennis player. Something that you have a lot of interest and enthusiasm for can make you avid about something. And they're avid skiers, and we're talking about snow skiing, not water skiing.
You're probably not going to see a lot of avid skiers here in Taiwan because they don't have a heck of a lot of snow here. But you do see a lot of avid cyclists. Lots of people here love riding their bicycles and stuff like that. And here, in this case, they are avid skiers. They just love skiing. They can't get enough of it. And they're looking for a relaxing place to warm up after an exciting day on the slopes. If you go skiing, especially in the mountains or places like that, you're doing downhill skiing as opposed to Nordic or cross-country skiing. You're going downhill. You get to ride up in a chairlift or other things like that.
Ski lift, yeah.
A ski lift.
Both.
And so, yes, indeed, it can be quite exhausting out there on the slopes. It's kind of cold, but you're nice and warm. You're kind of exercising and stuff like that. So, of course, one great thing to do after skiing all day is to go someplace warm in front of a fireplace and have some hot chocolate or some other kinds of food and just warm up. So, yes, indeed, they want to have a relaxing place to warm up after an exciting day of skiing on the slopes. A slope is just a part of a mountain. It's lower on one side and higher on the other. So, of course, you can't ski on a flat surface. You need to have a slope. Start at the top and go to the bottom. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you do ski on a flat surface, that's the cross-country skiing. And that's just hard. I don't see why people do that.
I did it when I was growing up in the Midwest.
Really?
It's basically all the kind of skiing we could do. There.
You didn't have mountains. I did go skiing a lot in college. My favorite part of skiing, of course, was going to the lodge, the ski lodge afterwards and having chocolate, hot chocolate with friends and looking cute in my ski outfit. But a lot of people really do like to go skiing. I have to say, you're working so hard as you downhill ski that it's not cold. You'll actually sweat sometimes as you're skiing. Now, their little idea of a tree house is to build something called what they call it the après ski house tree house. Après, as you see here, is not English, it's French.
Do I really have to say après?
Yes,
do I really
après.
have to do that? I refuse.
It means after. So after skiing, they want a place to go and just hang out. And this is what Pete has been asked to build for them, an after ski house tree house. So Pete and his group, they set off in search of the perfect spot. If you set off to do something, it means you start.
Start some kind of journey, going from one place to another. So they're looking for the perfect spot to build this tree house, and they finally find it, but there's just one problem. The trees are located on a steep hill, or maybe a steep slope, which means the tree house will have to be built nearly 18 meters in the air. If something is steep, it goes from a lower place to a higher place pretty quickly. Like in eastern Taiwan here, the cliffs there are very steep, and you don't want to fall off of those cliffs there, or you're going to die, of course. So be careful there. They have found this place on a steep hill, so the treehouse is going to have to be pretty high in the air, 18 meters. That's pretty high. It probably will be pretty difficult to build. Yeah,
because you have to keep climbing up or getting up high in order to build anything. Now, Pete, it says, is never one to turn down a challenge. Now, if you turn down a challenge, it means you say, no, I don't want to do that. If you turn down an offer, you just say no, you don't want it. Or you turn down a request maybe for a date. Someone asks you out, and if you turn them down, again, you say no. He's never one, which means he always accepts any challenge that he gets. He likes to be challenged. He likes to do things that are hard. It sounds like he likes puzzles and trying to figure out how to build these tree houses with a lot of obstacles in his way. So he's doing the right kind of work because this particular tree house they're building isn't going to be easy. Our author here is very clever, and she writes, before long, a stairway to treehouse heaven takes shape. There's a very famous song that was recorded a long time ago, Stairway to Heaven. Who's the group who did that?
Led Zeppelin, of course. I always thought that song was way overrated. I like Led Zeppelin, but I'm not a big fan of that song. But in any case here, yes, Stairway to Heaven or a stairway to this treehouse, and eventually it takes shape. If something takes shape, it begins to have a definable form. This happens sometimes when we're building something. It doesn't really look like the finished product just yet, but over time it starts to take shape and you think, oh yeah, that's starting to look like a staircase or a stairway. Those are basically the same thing.
It doesn't mean it's finished, but if something is taking shape, and you can use it for something that's not literal, maybe you're working on a project at work, or you're working on a paper for school, and it's 15 pages. Well, if it's taking shape, it means you started and you're making some progress on it, but it's not finished.
Indeed. So let's move on now to the next paragraph. Well, let's do that in just a couple of seconds. I think we need to take a break. Oh, I'm so exhausted right now. Let's turn things over to the Chinese teacher.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 好，我们今天要来继续看 Pete Nelson 他所盖的天空之城，其实就是树屋。好，我们提到了他所盖的第一个工程，这是帮他好朋友盖的 tree house。而今天呢，他要盖另外一个 tree house， 这个工程更不简单了。他提到说，下一个工程呢，他是让他们比较有充裕的时间来做，所以他不必要跟时间赛跑，跟时间赛跑 race against time， 他不需要这样做。那这个地方在 Washington， 华盛顿州。好，那主人呢，他们很爱滑雪，所以说他们是avid skiers， 很爱滑雪，而他们想要盖的这个树屋呢，其实是一个在山坡上，然后在滑雪之后可以在这个树屋里取暖的一个舒适的地方。好，他说啊，这样子的一个 idea， 这样子一个树屋的概念，可以说是一个滑雪后的休闲树屋。好，这个休闲树屋既然是如此，所以当然就要找一个合适的地点。那这边就提到了，问题来了，怎么说？好，我们看到 There's just one problem. The trees are located on a steep hill. 换句话说，位置不对，它呢是在一个陡峭的山丘上。可是你注意到，在这个山丘 hill 的后头是逗点，逗点接着写 which means。好，我们看到 which前面的逗点，这代表它后面其实是一个非限定的关系子句，由 which 来引导。那这个 which 到底指什么？其实指的就是前面整个的叙述，也就是它的位置在一个陡峭的山丘上，这样子的位置表示说这个树屋呢就一定得要盖在很高的地方，这边写了将近有18公尺的高空中。好，我们注意到which 有时候指的不是某一个名词而已，尤其是在逗点后面，要仔细看前后文，它有可能就像这样，指的是前面整个的叙述。
We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue talking about this new treehouse project in Washington State. Of course, that's in the United States, and some people confuse Washington State with Washington, D.C. The latter there is the capital city of the United States on the East Coast, but Washington State is on the West Coast, and the biggest city there, of course, is Seattle. Okay, well, in any case here, this particular treehouse is going to be built on a steep hill. That's a big challenge, but hey, our tree builder here, our master tree house builder, Pete Nelson, is not deterred. He sees it as a challenge. He does not turn it down. Now, he's building this for James and Wendy Walters, and the Walters' treehouse is designed to feature 2 stories and a heavy timber frame with vaulted ceilings. A story, of course, is a level in a house or a building. Like Taipei 101, I think it has 101 stories. Okay, so in this case, hey, this is quite an ambitious project. It is a treehouse with 2 stories, with heavy timber or heavy wood and vaulted ceilings. Vaulted is something you see inside a church, right? It's a high ceiling that kind of looks like an arch.
My mother designed our house that we still live in, my dad at least does, with vaulted ceiling in the family room. So you can actually, it looks like a roof in the family room. It's not a flat ceiling. It's a roof like this, and you can see beams. You know, my mom loved vaulted ceilings. It's actually,
if you can afford it, yeah,
it's actually fun. Yeah, it's pretty. Anyway, this story house had vaulted ceilings, just like I was describing. We have in a family room in my home. Now, to support the structure's weight, Pete's team built a special reinforcement system with some heavy-duty steel beams that are going to sit underneath the treehouse. When you talk about any sort of structure, it could be a house, it could be a building. It's just something that is built that can shelter something else. It doesn't even have to have walls, really, a structure. We have a structure outside in our yard where Dad keeps the lawnmower and things, the rototiller. That's a piece of equipment you use for gardening. We have a structure outside. It does have one it's kind of a shed. So, you know, you can call lots of things that are built structures.
Indeed. So this is a big structure. It's 2 stories. It's got vaulted ceilings. So, of course, it's going to be very heavy. So to support the weight of this structure, Pete's team builds a special reinforcement system with heavy-duty steel beams that will sit underneath the treehouse. Reinforcement just means you're doing something to make something stronger. Some buildings may have reinforcement here in Taiwan so that they can withstand typhoons or to withstand earthquakes. Give them extra strength to reinforce them. And yeah, I guess the tree just can't hold up this house by itself, so they've got these steel beams or steel poles, and they are heavy duty, which means they're extra strong.
Extra strong. Yeah, we'll often use that to describe different products. Oh, it's heavy duty battery, a heavy duty mop, a heavy duty whatever. So they've got a really good reinforcement system that they have, which they'll need because they're building 18 meters in the air. Now, the project sounds complicated. It's not easy to build. It's a little bit difficult. You can have a complicated project. You can have a complicated math problem where there are a lot of parts to it. It's confusing. And you'd have to have kind of a master carpenter to figure out how they're going to build it. But for Pete, at least, it's pretty fun. He likes the challenge. So this project continues smoothly until James, and that's the dad in the Walters family, he comes up with an additional request, and wow, it's not easy. If I had been Pete, I would say, I give up. This is too hard.
Right. Well, I'm sure if you're a carpenter or a builder, you're kind of used to this when the clients say, well, yeah, we like that, but we'd actually like to change it to this now, or we talked about it last night, and my wife wants another room here or there or whatever. So, yes, indeed, James makes an additional request. He'd like the indoor fireplace to become an outdoor fireplace, too. A fireplace, of course, is where you can burn wood to keep warm in the winter. Some houses here in Taiwan have them. them. Not many, but some. And he wants it to be outdoors as well. So maybe the fireplace will point indoors to keep the inside hot, and it will also point outside if people just want to sit outside and be warm there too.
Notice that Tom said it'll be outdoors, and he added an S. Outdoor is the adjective form of that word. But if you say I'm going outdoors, that's the noun. It's a place, right? So indoors or indoor fireplace, that again is an adjective. Pete takes a last-minute adjustment in stride. If you take something in stride, that's the whole phrase there. It just means you don't let it upset you. You continue on. You don't make it a big deal. You just take it in stride. A lot of people are really good at doing that. Whereas other people, if they have obstacles or challenges in life, they just want to give up. They don't want to even continue, or they'll complain a lot. Well, Pete, he just goes along. He goes, oh, whatever you want, I can do it. So if you have an adjustment, it's something you change. You're making some sort of change, and it's kind of last minute. So he has to think quickly, but he's able to alter his plans to achieve what they request.
Exactly. So he takes this adjustment in stride. As you said, you just kind of keep on going. Your stride, of course, refers to when you step, how far apart your feet are when you're walking. And basically, this change doesn't stop his pace. He just keeps on working. He doesn't let it slow him down. He doesn't miss a beat. And he keeps on doing it. And the new fireplace, the windows, and the doors are all in place very soon. In place means they are where they're supposed to be, and they are finished building those particular things.
Yeah, so all that's left, it says, is to make the place cozy. And if you've ever been to a ski lodge, you know that ski lodges are kind of cozy. There are fireplaces there, really comfortable sofas. The chairs are so soft and cozy too, because after skiing all day, you're kind of tired. Cozy just means it's a place that you feel comfortable. It's very relaxing there. There's a lot of warmth. You feel like you're home. It's kind of like that kind of feeling, being home. Now, Tori, remember, is Pete's trusty designer. If you're trusty, it means you're somebody that a friend considers you to be really reliable, someone they can always depend on. She's really pretty good. She can't wait to fill this treehouse with ski-themed furniture. So the furniture will look like you're in a ski lodge. She's going to come up with some soft rugs and a games table for the kids, sort of like a table where you could play chess or checkers, things like that. And she's also going to put in or design a mouth-watering wine bar. Mouth-watering means it'll be a bar that not just serves wine, but probably will have some food there. If your mouth waters, it means you're looking at something or smelling something delicious, and your mouth starts having that water inside, 流口水.
Yeah.
So she's got this wine bar there for James and Wendy.
Right, and I guess wine goes along with skiing. Of course, you don't want to drink wine and ski at the same time. It's like driving drunk.
That would be dumb.
Yeah, it'd be dumb. So wait until you're done skiing before you start pulling the corks out of the latest bottle of Bordeaux that you spent hundreds of dollars on. So they've got this wine bar there. It's not hard to imagine how much the Walterses adore their custom-made chalet in the sky. If you adore something, you really love it. And custom made means it's built for you especially. It's not based on some previous pattern. A custom made car, for example. Some famous cyclists have custom made bicycles. They don't buy them in a shop. They have the bikes made for them. A chalet is kind of like a lodge, as you described before. It's kind of like a cottage or a wooden house that is great in Switzerland, for example. You go inside, you feel nice and warm. There's a fireplace. Oh, and there's wine too.
So for more awe-inspiring treehouse creations like these we've talked about, be sure to tune in to Discovery's show called Treehouse Masters. It is going to be in June. We hope you caught it. Now, awe-inspiring just means something that really is impressive, magnificent, that you're going, wow, over. I kind of like to see some of these tree houses that Pete builds. So I think I'm going to be tuning in or checking it out online.
I'd like to see if some people are building tree houses here in Taiwan as well. If you know of one, give us a call. So that brings us to the end of our explanation. Here comes our Chinese teacher.
好，我们现在继续看这个第二间树屋，它是 two stories， 有2层楼，而且呢，它还用厚重的木材制成骨架和什么样的天花板？他说它是 vaulted ceilings， 那是一个拱形的天花板。好，所以这个团队呢，当然就必须要考虑到这一点，他们必须要盖比较特别的一个强化系统。好，那提到这个强化系统，他说他怎么盖呢？他用到的是Heavy-duty steel beams。 好，我们已经看过 beams 这个单字，它讲的是这种横梁树的梁柱，但是呢 heavy-duty 这个形容词呢，它常常用来表示说物件啦、衣服啦、用品啦是很耐重的、耐用的、耐操的。所以说有时候你讲电池是 heavy-duty batteries， 你想衣服、想鞋子都可以强调它耐磨耐用，而在这边既然是讲钢梁，那就是表示它是耐重的。好，我们来看看接下来提到这个房子呢，好像盖起来是很顺利的，可是呢不其然的，后面呢有一个 additional request， 也就是呢突然屋主呢提了一个额外的要求，他的要求就是跟这个房子的 fireplace 有关，他希望这个壁炉啊，它是室内的，但同时也是可以充当室外的壁炉。好了，这是一个 additional request， 可是 Pete 这个人呢，他说他是很从容的解决这样的要求。这个从容不迫，英文有个片语就是 take something in stride， 就是你还是大步的前走。如果就字面解释来说，这个大步前走意思就是不管是什么困难都是从容应付。好，后面呢继续他又提到了他解决了这个问题之后，现在唯一剩下的是什么呢？就是要让空间变得舒适。我们看到这边写到了 all that's left。好，这几个字其实要注意到它句型上其实蛮复杂的，因为它的动词是 is， 然后呢后面当然还有继续来的写的补语，可是它的主词 all 后面加一个 that is left， 整个来说就是被剩下的，所有被剩下的，当然指的是所有剩下该做的，也就是 all that's left to do。 那到底是什么呢？后面就是用不定词继续写 to make the space cozy， 这就是我们刚刚说的让空间变得舒适。好，不过不要忘了 Pete 他其实有一个很信任得过的设计师，他会来帮他做室内空间的设计。那他说的设计就是要把这个树屋变成一个 ski themed furniture， 具有以滑雪为主题的家具。好，这个 ski themed， 注意到我们谈复合形容词常常会留意到有些时候呢，这个复合形容词里面啊，那个 pp 的部分它不是一个动词哦，而是一个名词加 ed， 像这个就是一个很好的例子。 theme 主题原来呢是一个名词，可是你可以把它加上 ed， 像假分词一样，那整个和前面的 ski 这个名词合起来还是一样是一个复合形容词。那提复合形容词后面也是一样的，你会看到 mouth watering， 还会看到一个 custom made。 好， custom made 这个地方 made 当然是动词转来的过去分词。好，那最后提到说，如果大家很想看这样子的作品，又来了一个复合形容词 awe-inspiring， 看到了吗？ awe 是名词， inspire 加了 ing 用现在分词，这样的复合形容词。好，我们今天讲解到此为止，我们下次见。
Thanks for joining us, guys. We hope you get a chance to tune into Treehouse Masters. It's going to be on TV until July, so you still have some time to catch it. Thanks for joining us. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Goodbye.
Bye.